Hello everybody, this is not a crypto expert chiming in with another video, and in today's video I wanted to go over an article that I ran across on nasdaq.com regarding US securities regulators unveiling a framework for digital coin offerings, which is music to my ears because people in the United States being kept out of initial coin offerings was something that I complained about in some of my previous videos. But before I get into the topic of discussion for today, I would like to ask that you please consider giving me a like, giving me a heart, giving me a thumbs up, a follow, a subscribe. I'm not going to ask you to share because it seems invasive. On my channel, I talk about cryptocurrency and blockchain technology. I try to keep it entertaining with a beat in the background. So, on to the topic of discussion for today, which I said is US securities regulators unveil legal framework for digital coin offerings. Technology trading startups may be permitted an exemption to raise capital using digital currencies or tokens under the current securities law framework, a top U.S. financial regulator said on Thursday. But firms must develop a transition plan after 3 years to show whether those products can be traded under a decentralized framework, SEC Commissioner Hester Pierce said. The long-awaited proposal by the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission to allow trading platforms to issue initial coin offerings, ICOs, come after the regulator previously said that tokens can be considered securities and are subject to the same safeguards required in traditional security sales. Pierce unveiled a proposal to offer a 3-year window to develop a network that allows for tokens to be distributed to and freely tradable by potential users, programmers, and participants in the network, while preserving important protections for token purchasers. ICOs have become a bonanza for digital currency entrepreneurs, allowing them to raise millions quickly by creating and selling digital tokens with no regulatory oversight. The latest proposal aims to provide a legal framework for the offer and sale of tokens under the federal securities laws. The agency's proposal, which is subject to public consultation, will require firms to include disclosures tailored to the needs of token purchasers. They would include information about the source code and a development plan, as well as an initial development team, among other details, Pierce told an industry audience in Chicago. Technology platforms must also disclose applicable anti-fraud provisions and clarity on when a token transaction constitutes a securities transaction at the end of the 3-year period. I see this proposal as a path forward that achieves the objective of getting token purchasers the information they need, but is also just a sketch, a work in progress, that requires productive engagement from the public, Pierce told Reuters. Now, I know that there are like at least 3 or 4 videos where I was complaining about ICOs that I wanted to get on for companies or technologies that I was really invested in, but those companies kept the United States residents out because of at the time, well, I mean, even still, this nonsense was going on. They did not want to run afoul of the SEC, and I mean that's understandable. You don't want a government agency, especially a government agency from the United States, coming down on your company or the people that are trying to participate in your ICO, because just God knows what that could entail. So I'm glad to see that, what now, almost 3 years later, since the ICO craze in 2017, that we're starting to get some momentum going to allow people in the United States to be able to actually participate in ICOs. Now, that doesn't mean that companies that are still doing ICOs will allow residents in the United States to participate in them. However, this is at least a step in the right direction. If the government and the SEC are saying, hey, you know what, let's take a look at this, let's make it to where we can protect our consumers, then maybe that will bring some of these projects that we've missed out on back to the back to giving us access in the United States to invest them, because it really does suck. There were ways to try to get around it, but it just wasn't worth it in the end, because I mean there were just too many hoops that you would have to go through to try to lie about being a resident in the United States. So once again, I'm happy to read this, and I hope that they achieve their objective and that we get some type of clarity sooner rather than later. Hopefully this isn't just something that I read on January the 10th, 2020, and by 2025 there's still nothing definitive yet. So with that being said, folks, don't forget to hit that like button, that heart button, that thumbs up button. Give me a follow, a subscribe. Not going to ask you to share because it seems invasive. And I hope that you're having a great morning, a great afternoon, and an even better evening.